Close your eyes, please. Imagine you're suffering from information overload, as so many people do nowadays. Emails constantly pouring into your inbox, phone calls, text messages, social media notifications, or even ads lurking around every corner. Open your eyes. This is modern world. Uh, we are surrounded by information every single minute of our life. How does this make you feel? I'm an English teacher, and when I asked my students about information overload, they told me about pressure, stress, and it was very often combined with the feeling of not being able to manage it all. You know what's the most important thing is the fact that 90% of the information that we receive is not really relevant, but we have to check it because it might be. But still, it's nothing to worry about. The consequences of information overload are serious. We feel bad, it stops us from thinking clearly, and it very often stops us from being productive. In 2017, people watched movies and TV series for 69,000 hours on Netflix. They also asked Google 3 million questions. They posted 46,000 posts on Instagram, and they took and shared 527,000 of pictures on Snapchat. And it's not the data collected within the whole year. This is what we do on a daily basis. And I was shocked when my friend told me about this, and you can check the information on psychologiaspołeczna.pl or domo.com, that we do this. But I'm also like a part of this machine. I also post a lot of information, but I hope that my information is relevant and meaningful. And I also flat people with this kind of thing. Today, I want to share with you my way I deal with information overload, and there are like many different approaches. One of them is digital detox, but what I want to advocate today is called visual thinking and graphic recording. Visual thinking is the art of thinking in pictures. It's your ability to build mental pictures in your head, generally or especially when you're talking to different people. Graphic recording, on the other hand, is the art of transferring these already built mental pictures in your heads into a sheet of paper. This approach is very helpful not only in the classroom, because I use it as an English teacher, but I also use it when I'm at the conference. It's very helpful, and it helps a lot of people because we do not care about the education of a person, we don't care about the nationality, we don't care about the culture or the social class, because all of our brains are very visual. There is no brain that does not think in pictures. But very often we think that we communicate using words. No, we don't. Mr. Pavio, I want you to meet a professor, a psychology professor from the University of Western Ontario. And he has done research in this field. And he also advocates the way that we comprehend information into two different ways. It's like we create our verbal associations, and we also create our visual imagery. And this is how the information gets into our brain. It's like very, very deep inside us. You might hear about Tony Buzan, and his idea is also based on the concept of the power of combining words and images together. Truth be told, it's very difficult to show you from the stage how graphic recording works, but I already showed you what visual thinking is when I asked you the question at the very beginning of my speech. However, I'm going to do a workshop during the lunch break, and then you can approach me and we can try some graphic recording. Uh, the most important thing when you decide to visually record something, knowledge or words of somebody, is that you have to listen very actively. It's not like you can do it by drawing only the representations of the words. You have to take it very, very deep and try to create like a mental story in your head. And when you do it, you're able to create like a bigger picture of everything, what has just been said or what has just happened in a meeting or during the conference. And if you wish, you can check it when you approach the wall on which I'm drawing today. Uh, there are just three reasons, that's it, why visual thinking combined with graphic recording really work. So I've been teaching English for 11 years, and 3 years ago I decided to implement visual thinking and graphic recording into my teaching curriculum. And the fact is that it has had a very positive impact on the way I transfer knowledge to my students and the way they transfer their knowledge to me. It's like we exchange mental pictures, and it's like when I'm a graphic recorder during my lesson, it's like 90% of responsibility is on their side because they have to produce something. They have to produce either a language or they need to know something, so I have anything to draw. It's like I'm no longer the teacher there. I'm only there to like record the knowledge that they have. So I don't know if you can imagine like a better classroom environment than this when your students already know what they should teach you. It helps their clarity of understanding, their absorption and retention of information, and also their ability to understand metaphors. They're all able to create bigger pictures. And it doesn't matter if they are six, of it they are like 58 or 100. They know what they say and not the other way around. They are like very aware of very different concepts, and they are very aware of the words that they choose, and the pictures, of course, to represent their like mental images that they have in their head. Uh, One of the most important things is like the focus during the class. It's like on a very, very high level because they have to listen to one another in order to be able to take part in a discussion. Uh, it's also connected with active listening because they need to know how to follow the others. If they don't follow, they have like nothing to say, so they have nothing to share. So like generally, and to be honest, there is no need for them to be in the classroom because they are doing like nothing. And of course, they're also processing ideas more comprehensively. It is impossible to say or to judge the image that they create in these frames of being right or wrong. Whatever they decide to put on a sheet of paper, it's okay. If for them the apple is only like a circle and a triangle, it's perfectly okay. It is an apple. If they choose to represent it like in a more exact way, I'm also okay with that. And the most important thing, everybody in the classroom must be okay with that. There is no like saying like, it doesn't look like an apple. It does. For him, it's an apple, so for you, it must be his apple, and you have to accept it. This kind of process, when you combine visual thinking and graphic recording, makes the environment of learning for students more open to their ideas. Like, do you remember when you were asked to come to the blackboard during the lessons in primary school or junior high school or even high school? I'm sure that we felt stressed and tensed, and we didn't want to say anything. And I think that the reason for that was because we were waiting for the right and wrong answer. Yes, we were also like looking for the good and the bad because we thought that this kind of answer is expected from us. While in visual thinking, you say what you really think, but there is like a rule that you cannot like hurt any other people. When we discuss difficult subjects, and just believe me that even if they are like 16 or sometimes even younger, they do discuss difficult concepts. Uh, we do not focus on judging, never. We are focused on finding the solution. It's very often like this that we put ourselves into another person's shoes. So it allows us to look at things from at least two different perspectives. And when you look at things from at least two different perspectives, it leads you toward the solution. And if it's not the solution after 60 or 90 minutes, it's at least the right direction that you should follow. All of it is supported by emotional experience because we all say what we think, but through our subjective lenses. I'd never say that the kid who is 6 cannot have like more life experience than I have, because, for example, his or her parents might be divorced, while I have never experienced such a thing. So I'd never say that a 6-year-old kid cannot be my teacher. Yes, they can, but we have to allow them. And they have their own experience. They like lived their own stories. And they're like deep inside, emotionally based. So we all share emotions. Here you can see me in New York sitting doing the graphic recording, and it's also them. And I know for sure that whenever I'm a graphic recording at a conference, I experience the same things that my students experience in my classroom or in our classrooms, because it's not only about me. I have to listen very actively. I have to focus, and I have to create a lot of mental pictures in my head. I have to be like inside head storyteller. So then I know what I want to transfer to a sheet of paper. Do you remember how you felt when I asked you about information overload? Some of you might have been able to deal with this problem better than others. Some of you might be still struggling with this. But I know that from today, you will at least have the knowledge that there is a very powerful tool of dealing with it. And I hope that when you are at a conference or at a meeting or anywhere where you have to like take very important information, you will try to record it visually on your sheet of paper. Do you remember doodling while talking on the phone? Or do you remember your last pages of notebooks in primary school, for example, or even high school? Uh, that was your first step into our common journey, because we all do this. There is no need to be any kind of artist. You just need to be able to transfer what you think into a sheet of paper. And the most important lesson from it's that visual thinking and graphic recording, they don't know nationality. They don't know social background. They don't know your education. They don't know anything about you. We're all equal in the classroom. No matter the age, no matter any circumstances. Because we all share the same pictures in our head, and through the pictures, we learn to accept one another. As Ken Robinson once said, revolutions don't start with laws and regulations. They emerge from people's actions. They start at the bottom. And this is like my way to start a revolution in the way we educate ourselves. And I'm sure that you know that education doesn't stop when you get the university degree. It's like a lifelong experience. Today, I want to thank my students, My journey with graphic recording and visual thinking happened because of them, and they learned from me as I've learned from them. I wouldn't be here today if they didn't show me the way how to teach them. And just to finish, I want you to remember that if you can see it, you can learn it. Thank you very much.